Ladies and gentlemen, the Oklahoma City Thunder have swept my Phoenix Suns, okay? Bro, I've got the Suns hat. I've got the Suns hoodie. I got the Suns shirt. Look at that. Look at that. This is what I wore during the game. That they got, it was official. They're swept. They've lost 4 in a row. This is what I was wearing. And I've been wearing it ever since. I've been crying in it. I've been sobbing in it. That just it just reeks of tears, ladies and gentlemen, because the Phoenix Suns got swept. No, but seriously, OKC sweeps the Suns. Oklahoma, most talented team in the league. I will say that, but they are also one of the worst teams in the league to watch, okay? Look, I can confidently say as a fan of pro wrestling, I have never seen a group of grown men more willing to throw themselves on the ground than the Oklahoma City Thunder, okay? Like, dude, they are all the talent in the world. The best team, and it's not really close. They are absolutely a chore to watch, okay? They are such a chore to watch. Flopping nonstop. Can't say I like to watch OKC play, but I did just see 4 straight games of them versus my Phoenix Suns. But I'm not going to really talk about the Thunder in this video because they were the best team in the league this year. They were the 1 seed. What'd they win? 64 games? 64 games, something like that. They're the reigning defending champions. They should have swept the Suns. What I want to talk about is the absolute crazy discourse around the Suns and Devin Booker regarding this series. Because people are out here talking like the Suns just blew a championship potential run. People are out here talking like the Suns were the favorite. You got Stephen A. Smith saying, when is Devin Booker going to play winning basketball? You got a lot of people out here slandering Devin Booker. Yo, the Suns weren't even projected to make the playoffs. And people are out here like, Devin Booker's not a winning basketball player. What? Devin Booker's not a winning basketball player? Because his 8th seed Phoenix Suns got swept by the best team in basketball? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Again, this team was not projected to even be a play-in team, bro. CBS Sports said they'd be the bottom of the West. Everyone said they'd be bottom of the West. They said they're going to be a lottery team. All right? That is what the Phoenix Suns projections prior to this season were. Basically unanimously, except for, I think, Suns fans, a lot of Suns fans. I think I actually, if you go back and you watch the first video on this YouTube channel, I think I said the Suns will be the 7 seed in that video. But I'm so confused by the amount of do sports networks just need something to talk about where they're do people just need something to talk about where they're sitting around saying, oh, Devin Booker, he can't be the number 1 option on a championship team. He can't be the number 1 option on a contending team. This is not a contending team. This was an 8 seed that lost a play-in game. All right, just because the Suns surpassed all y'all's low expectations does not mean that they were that good of a team. They were the 7 seed all year. All year. They were the 7 seed. And let me tell you, I know currently Orlando's up like 3-1 on Detroit. Detroit might be the fakest 1 seed ever. Okay? Normally, a 1 seed is about 100 times better than a 7 or 8 seed. Okay? There should be, I don't even know why this is a discussion. Devin Booker can't lead the Suns in the playoffs. They're playing the best team in the NBA. And they're not that good of a team. They're good enough to be in the playoffs. And they were good enough to make the play-in. But let's be honest, y'all. In the NBA, you have to want to lose to not make the play-in. Okay? You have to want to lose or be the Sacramento Kings to not be in the play-in. That's how it goes. 20 teams get to be in the play-in. Okay, 20 teams. It's not like the Suns were a title favorite. Not at the start of the season, not at the end of the season. No one was saying, I think Phoenix has a real good shot at making the conference finals or even the finals. No one was saying that. The Suns should have got swept. It would have been... If OKC lost a single game to these Suns, now I would have loved to see that. But if OKC lost a single game to these Suns, I think we would have had to start doubting if they were going to make the playoffs. Or not. If they were going to make the finals. That's what I should say. This Suns team does not compete with OKC on anything. They can't even compete with them. And if you ask the question, does your team have a center? OKC, yes, we have 2 centers in our starting lineup. Phoenix, no, we don't even have one. Because Oso Ighodaro is not a center, in my opinion. That brother is a forward who can't shoot. And so it's like, what are we talking about? And there's been a lot of criticism about Devin Booker over this series. And I think games 1 through 3, I don't know. Was it really that warranted? Maybe game 4, you can argue, hey, you should have been more aggressive. Right? That's what people have been saying all throughout the entire season. And Devin Booker still, you can say, hey, you should have been more aggressive throughout this whole series. And sure, yeah, maybe he should have. But the brother's being doubled by the number 1 defense in the NBA, okay? People want to sit there. I know it's easy to just blame, oh, yeah, it's this guy's fault. Oh, it's all his fault this team's losing. I know it's easy to sit there and just blame Devin Booker. But why is it that the OKC Thunder so willingly will double Devin Booker and not change that the entire series? Because no one else was beating them. Nobody else was going to beat them. All right. Everyone else, games 1 through 3, was playing like trash. Okay, it took till game 4 for the entire team collectively to have a good performance. Games 1 through 3, Jalen Green shot terribly. Colin Gillespie, not good. Grayson Allen missed 2 of those games, and then the third game he played, he wasn't that good. Royce O'Neal, not that good. Oso, Ighodaro, not that good. The only player who played good in all those first three games, really all 4 of them actually, was Dillon Brooks. That's the only player, and he was getting one-on-one with Chet, and I guess Dillon just does not fear Chet Holmgren at all. And it's like, okay, the Oklahoma City Thunder, well, if they're going to lose to Dillon Brooks, they'll lose to Dillon Brooks. If they lose because Dillon Brooks goes out there and balls out while going one-on-one with Chet Holmgren every night, all right, well, I guess we lost. But they're not going to lose to Devin Booker. They're not going to lose because Devin Booker was out there hooping. They doubled the brother. The best defense in the NBA was doubling this guy 4 straight games. And do you want to... And they could. They could double him 4 straight games because everyone else was playing like trash for 3 straight games. Except for Dillon. So it's like, what are we talking about? Everyone wants to point the finger at Devin. Hey, you were trash. And you know what? To a certain extent, yeah, they're right. But also, no, not really. Because they were able to double him because no one else stepped up. Like if Jalen Green, if the way he played in the play-in, he played in this series versus OKC, it would have been so much easier for Devin to score. Because then they can't just double Devin. Now they got to actually rotate on some other people, make sure Jalen can't score. If Colin Gillespie wasn't trash for the first 3 games of the series, then maybe Devin wouldn't have been doubled on every play. All right, that's what needs to really be emphasized. Is they could double Devin. The best defense in the NBA could double Devin Booker on every play because no one else was really stepping up for 3 straight games except Dillon. And again, if Dillon Brooks is the reason you lose a playoff series because this brother dropped 30, then I guess you're just going to take that. But you ain't going to get beat by Devin Booker. All right, you're not going to let Devin Booker beat you. So that's really what it is, And also, again, Thunder just completely outmatched him. Even if Devin Booker was having a good series, this would have went to 5 at best. Because the Thunder completely outmatched him. Completely. better defensively, better offensively. One of the things I can't stand about OKC that has nothing to do with how horrible they are to watch just in general is that every brother on this team is an all-NBA caliber defender. Who is the worst defender on this team? Jared McCain. And is he a bad defender? He's not good. Everyone else is really good for some reason. Every other brother on the Oklahoma City Thunder is just the best defender you'll ever see for some reason. I can't stand it, bro. I can't stand seeing these people. I don't even know their names. They're checking in, and they're out there guarding like prime Draymond Green. I can't stand it, bro. I'm going to be completely honest with you. All right? I'm going to be completely honest. So, there's that. And another thing, the Suns playing without a center. Like I said, Oso Ighodaro is not a center. He's a forward who can't shoot. He's not tall enough. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough, wide enough to compete with these guys, to compete with Chet Holmgren, to compete with Isaiah Hartenstein. They got a double big lineup. We're running a point forward who can't shoot at our... Like, we got Ben Simmons as our center, essentially. Okay, we got a point forward who can't shoot in Oso Ighodaro as our center. And then other than that, we got Kamal Malawach, who is not ready for heavy playoff minutes at all. At some points, we were playing Hayward Highsmith at center, and I was losing my mind just at that. At the fact we were running a lineup, and Hayward Highsmith was like the tallest guy in the lineup, and he's out there supposed to be guarding, supposed to be competing on the glass with Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Absolutely ridiculous. OKC completely outmatched the Suns, and yeah, no one likes to get swept. No one wants to see their team lose. I don't think this should distract from the fact this was low-key like the best Suns season since 2022. Like, it's not the most wins they've had. But this is the best season since they won 64 games, which also ended in pretty embarrassing fashion where Luka Doncic just completely whooped them in Game 7. But, like 2023, that was a pretty up-and-down season. Traded for Kevin Durant mid-season. He only played like 8 games. Swept the Clippers. Didn't sweep them. Gentlemen swept them in the first round. Then got bullied by the Nuggets for 6 games where Devin Booker had to drop 50 in game. What was it? 50 or 40 in game 3 and 4 just to not get swept. Then the 2024 season. That's the one that got swept by the Timberwolves. That wasn't even that fun of a season. You know what I'm saying? Like, that season wasn't fun. Not that much. 2025 season, they completely missed the playoffs. That wasn't fun at all. That was not fun at all. This season was pretty fun. This was a pretty fun season from the Suns. All right, and I might be biased when I say this, but to me, the Suns were the most entertaining team in the league to watch, at least for the first 2/3 of the season. Maybe not that last third. They were kind of trash, but, I think all in all, you want to consider everything. This was a pretty good season. If you ask me, it's the best season they've had since they won 64 games, which was when Devin Booker was 4th in MVP voting. But, like, all things considered, this was a pretty good season. The Suns were projected to win 2 games. They won 43, 44, something like that. Dillon Brooks had an all-star caliber season, you ask me. He should have been an all-star. Over De'Aaron Fox, yes. Jordan Goodwin played great. Rasheer Fleming, the little time he got to play, he looked awesome. Jalen Green and Devin Booker both had some pretty good games, even though Jalen was hurt for a lot of the year. Grayson Michael Jordan Allen, he was hurt a lot, but when he wasn't hurt, that brother was hooping, bro. He was hooping. I think Grayson Allen averaged like 16 points a game this season. Career year for Grayson Allen, career year for Dillon Brooks, career year for Royce O'Neal, career year for Jordan Goodwin. Bro, I love the fact Jordan Goodwin played so good this year because 2 seasons ago when Frank Vogel was the head coach of the Suns, I thought Jordan Goodwin was great. I'm like, why doesn't coach play him? Why doesn't Frank Vogel play this brother? And then he got traded, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. He's so good. Why are we trading Jordan Goodwin? Right? And he got traded to Memphis, and he played good in Memphis. But, Memphis was trash that year, so it wasn't hard to play good for Memphis. They had, G Leaguers. They had Z Leaguers, bro. Forget the G League. They had people, Z Leaguers, bro. They had high school sophomores playing on that team, dude. And then he goes to the Lakers. He plays solid for them. They don't bring him back for whatever reason. And he comes back to Phoenix, and he's hooping, okay? Colin Gillespie. Fantastic year. MIP candidate Colin Gillespie started more games this season than he had games played total previous to this year, his entire career. MIP candidate. A lot of guys played great. So, I think all things considered, this is a real good season from the Suns. Obviously, no team ever wants to end a season getting swept, but hey, it happens. And, it's not like we were swept by the Kings, okay? We were swept by the best team in the NBA. That's my second shot at the Kings in this video. All right, hey, next season, write it down. Suns are going to the second round.